Hi. Today we're going to talk about a special category of bully. It's the retail bully. The retail bully is this, like you're working as a Starbucks barista and you're not making much money because you're retail. In fact, retail is famous for paying their workers the least amount possible, and they work their butts off. You know this, you're retail, right? You work hard and you don't get paid much. And on top of that, you have to deal with customers who are super rude. So if you're working in Starbucks and then a mistake is made with the order. Either it took too long, or you forgot to put their Danish in the bag, or the caramel macchiato, there was no caramel in it. These are all common mistakes in retail. But we have these people in society, we call them Karens, right? And a Karen is someone, this coffee is cold. Well, what are you going to do about it? Sir, ma'am, I will replace the coffee with some warm coffee. That's not good enough. I did your manager and I want to make, I want my money back. And it gets much worse than that. There are many cases of Karens throwing the coffee at the person, throwing the burger, or the fist fighting with the workers. And it's an ugly mess. And again, no one deserves that treatment, but least of all, the person who's making the least in society shouldn't have to get treated that way, okay? Because when a bank rips you off and takes your whole life savings, no one goes up to the CEO and throws stuff at them or, bullies them. No. So it's unfair, and we need a protocol on how to deal with this unique type of bully, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Okay, so I was a retail bully. When I got out of prison, I still had the prison mind, right? And I was doing drugs, right? So I also had, an anger from methamphetamine causes you to be angry. I'm angry all the time, right? But vengeful, I would say that drug is a vengeful drug. But anyway, so I was a retail bully, which means there were some businesses that they took advantage of me, in my opinion. They took my money and did not give me good service, or they abused their strong position and I felt helpless. But so I used my criminal mind to be a bully. So I remember this AT&T, they charged me for a billing that I felt I did not deserve to. I should not pay for this bill because I did not get good service, right? So they were. When you try to negotiate with a retail company like that, they can offer, sorry, that's the policy, right? Well, I didn't accept that. So what I did was, every time they closed the AT&T office, it was in a little strip mall, right? The AT&T location. Every time they closed it, I was on meth. I stayed up all night, right? So I would go over there in the middle of the night and, hold on, this persistent person doesn't understand when I reject your call, that's the end of it. Don't call back. It's busy. So I would go to the AT&T office late at night with a 50-cent tube of super glue, and I look in the window like this. I pretend like I'm looking in the window, but secretly with my other hand I'm squeezing the super glue into the keyhole of the door. And so I'm squirting it in there, right? So now it's 9 a.m. and the manager wants to open the store to do his AT&T business. The key won't go in. The key can't fit in there because the super glue, right? And so that would cripple his business because now he's got to call a locksmith. And the locksmith has never seen this type of damage before. He's like, what is going on? How come I can't get my lock picking tools in there? Nothing's going to open that door, okay? You're going to have to replace the entire door, okay? Because I glued all the gears shut. You ain't going to get that stuff off. You have to replace the entire door. And because I'm a meth head, right, I didn't accept. Everyone who I dealt with when I was on meth, they always said, I had no idea you would take things this far. I'm from prison. Of course I take things too far. That's what we're famous for. In prison, we all took things too far. So I would do it over and over again, and then I would call them and say, hey, remember me? I had the complaint and you didn't give me my money back? Oh, I was trying to go into your store, but the door was locked. What's up? And I just tease them like that, right? The point is this, that I was a major bully. Did they deserve it? Well, does McDonald's deserve it when they forget your fries? Okay, if I steal fries from McDonald's, that's theft. I could go to jail. But if they take the fries out of my bag, you notice that they never have extra food in the bag. It's always missing something. But you never score, oh, I got free tacos today. No, it's always, I'm missing my tacos. So the policy of the retail outlet is partly to blame for the bullying, okay? And that's my opinion, okay? Okay, so another time I was a retail bully was Bank of America. They charged me for fees, right? That I never made these purchases, and they would not refund them, and they were being total rude about it, right? And they assumed that I was just going to accept the loss and learn to live with it. No. So for the Bank of America, the location, the big bank, I would go in the middle of the night, I would go there and I would squirt a tube of super glue. I love super glue. It's got so many great uses, okay? I would squirt the super glue tube into the card slot of the ATM, right? And it would totally destroy the ATM machine. And again, I would call the Bank of America and I'd say to the manager, hey, you remember me? I'm the guy you billed $100 and I disputed the bill and you said no, you did not give me my... Well, I was noticing that your ATM machine's down. What's wrong, buddy? And he knows that I'm to blame, but I'm not admitting to any crime. But he told me, he says, every time you do that, it costs us $8,000 to repair the machine. So when I got that information, I thought, you could have just refunded my $100, but now you have $8,000 bill? Not good business sense. Plus, because I'm on meth, I don't do it once. I did it several times. probably cost him $20,000 to $30,000 for ripping me off for $100. That's the mind I had as the bully, was don't rip me off, because prison made me that way. In prison, if someone takes something from you, it's so serious, like life and death serious. It's not, oh, well, I guess I'm just going to forget about it. And no, prison, don't allow that. So the mentality, I had to unlearn all that. And, I haven't been to prison in 16 years? I'm 56. So, I have learned how to live according to society. If Bank of America rips me off today, I don't do that stuff. If AT&T rips me off, I don't do that stuff. But I'll tell you what, I don't do business with Bank of America, and I don't do business with AT&T because they are terrible companies. They're terrible. So I have evolved into the nice, pleasant person you see today. But I was a major retail bully. For example, if a common one that I would do would be if I was angry at a food establishment, a restaurant or a fast food place, I'll go in the bathroom and destroy it. Like, but who am I getting revenge on at that point? It's not the corporate Taco Bell who ripped me off. It's just the low retail worker. So in that scenario, I was being a true bully. I was bullying a person who had no ability, no authority to change policies at all. And so that's not, gratefully, I didn't do that very often. I always targeted up the ladder to get to the person with the money, because I never punched down. I don't like to punch down. I always punch up. It's honorable to punch up. It's shameful to punch down. Okay, so here's the steps that you want to take when dealing with your retail bully. Okay, you're working at Walmart as a cashier, or you're working at Starbucks as a barista, or anywhere that you're dealing with retail customers. Okay, my wife is a pharmacist, and she worked briefly as a retail pharmacist, and it was hell, because people would come up and she'd say, okay, it's going to take 45 minutes to fill your prescription. And then you go, why does it take so long to just put 10 pills in a bag? What's wrong with you guys? Why can't you just do it right now? Well, it's because you have 10 other people in front of you in line. And you also have 10 people from the drive-thru. And if we make a mistake and give you the wrong drug, you could die. So we can't be rushed on our job. But we don't explain all that to the bully. We understand that certain jobs in the retail world attract bullies and Karens, okay? Okay, so the first rule of advice I give you, let's say I'm working at McDonald's, and a person comes up to the counter and says, I ordered my hamburger with no mayo, and now it has mayo. And what the hell, man? I say, hold on, sir. Let me go get you my manager. You should say that all the time. Why? You don't get paid enough to deal with that horrible person and their petty little nothing problem that they're trying to make it. So this is a great example of someone who's escalating the problem. The problem was small. No mayonnaise on the hamburger. It could have easily been solved. But no, they had to be jerks about it and make the problem bigger and call you names and make you feel dumb, and now the problem's bigger and bigger. We don't escalate conflicts. We always shrink them. So the best way to shrink the problem is the policy should be, oh, we got your order wrong, let's fix it. Give me back that bad burger and I'm going to give you a burger with no mayonnaise. Problem solved. But here's how the Karen would say, this happens to me every week and I'm fed up with it. The other day, a guy Karen, he was at the drive-thru with a a bullhorn, a megaphone, a loudspeaker for his mouth, and he's saying, where are my hash browns? Where are my hash browns? Shouting it. So petty, juvenile, and bully, right? So remember this, you don't get paid enough to deal with those people. So all you do is you say, hold on, sir, let me go get my manager. If your manager's not on site, just do this. Sir, please save your receipt. And if I could see your receipt, I'm going to write my manager's phone number and time that they're in, and you can call and they're going to take care of you, I promise. I don't have authority to do anything to help you, but my manager will. Okay? So here's his phone number. He comes in at 9 a.m. and just show him your receipt and he's going to take care of you. Pass your grief on to the manager or the owner because they get paid for this and you don't. That's why they get paid more, because they deal with this stuff. You don't get paid to deal with that nonsense. Don't let them delegate that stuff to you. One time I was a retail night guy in an AM PM. It's basically a quickie mart, right? So I'm the graveyard guy, and I working with one other guy. Well, guess what? When these kids did a beer run, okay? They did a beer run, which means they came in and grabbed the beer and ran outside. Well, the other worker, he runs outside to fight them. And he risked his life because they could have stabbed or shot him or just beat him up. And then I was there in the morning when the boss came in, and then he told the boss what happened. The boss goes, oh, good for you. You good worker. He didn't give him a tip, not an extra $20 or take the day off and no compensation of any, just, hey, good boy, you did good boy, like a dog. So, here is the rules. Refer the bully to management or to the owner. That's protocol. I think that's what the manager wants you to do also, okay? Because you have no authority to hand out free meals or hand out refunds or deal with these toxic bullies that come to you in retail, okay? It's above your pay grade. You know what that means? It means you don't get paid enough to do that stuff, okay? All right, the second rule I want you to remember is I want you to always pretend that you are being recorded by video. Because you are. Because when you are having loud shouting with a customer, I promise you, if there are 5 people in the restaurant, 4 of them already have their cameras out and they're filming, okay? Also, your boss has cameras over the cashier. When I worked at the Quickie Mart, there were 5 cameras around me. One day my boss says, hey Alex, you're short on the cash register. I says, well, you got 5 cameras on me, so why don't you tell me what mistake I made, because with all them cameras, you should know every exact cent in the cash register, okay? But you are always being recorded, whether by customers or by your own management team, by the owners of the retail establishment. They have cameras everywhere. Okay, so you are being recorded. So the appropriate method for you to handle these Karens, these aggressively bully customers, is talk calmly. You're trying to shrink the problem. Don't talk confrontational. Don't yell. Don't, you know, if things get hot, I mean, it's the manager. If the manager's not here, and the customer's still belligerent and possibly violent, you're going to call the police, okay? So pretend that you are being filmed all the time, because you are being filmed all the time, okay? And if you forget that and you act belligerently, that video that recorded you could be used in your criminal trial for assault, okay? So it could also be used to fire you, okay? If you say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, you could be fired. So what is your corporate policy on refunds or disgruntled customers, or, you know, what is the policy? Stick to that, and beyond that, don't go, okay? Okay, so never escalate. This is rule number 3. Never escalate. Our goal in all of these situations with the bully is to shrink the problem until it's gone. Never make the problem bigger, make the problem bigger. Well, when this guy's yelling in your face, it's very easy for you to start yelling back. Now he's going to yell more. Now pretty soon you're going to be throwing stuff at each other. So we don't want to do that, okay? So never escalate, but never let anyone assault you, okay? So don't ever let someone assault you. I've talked in other videos about the importance of learning how to defend yourself. Take a self-defense class, a martial arts class, because you need to know when is appropriate to engage in. If you're being threatened physically, you need to be able to protect yourself, okay? Okay, allies in this situation are your co-workers. Do you have a giant fry cook in the back? Well, tell him before you have a conflict, say, hey, if we need you up front because someone's attacking us, would you be willing to stand with us and protect us? Good. That you should all be allies. Don't ever let one retail, if you're just standing there alone and then this group that came in drunk and now is picking on you, all of your co-workers should be behind you and encouraging the people to leave before the police come, encouraging them to act civil. You should never be alone. So remember your allies, okay? Here's another group of allies you have. Customers can be your allies, okay? A while ago, I was in a restaurant and a customer brought in an angry pit bull into the restaurant, and he says, no, this is my service dog. And the owner said, no, you got to take that dog out of here. Well, I'm a customer, and I said, hey, I don't want to eat with no dog, no aggressive dog here. So I helped the owner get rid of that weird dude who thought he could bring an angry pit bull with ears were chopped. He looked this insanely aggressive dog. He had a prong collar. So the point is customers can also be an ally. Your last ally, and probably the most powerful one, is the police. Call the police if someone's threatening you with violence. That should be in your that should be protocol. And the last piece of advice I have for you is go back to school. Go back to school. Go back to, why are you in retail? You're not making any money. You're not going to get promoted to owner. It never happens. Go back to school, okay? So don't be in that terrible situation where people are treating you terribly. Don't stay there. Go back to school so you can get a better job. All right, I wish you the best of luck.